I believe that almost every person, if given the opportunity, would go back in time and give their younger self some advice. So in this video, I'm going to go over the things I would tell my younger self if I were to somehow go back in time and meet him and tell him not necessarily what was ahead in his life, but just give him the right mindset moving forward and the things that I would want him to do based off of my own experiences and what I went through. So the first of those would be to stop playing the damn video games so much. And I know I talk about that in some of my other videos. But there was a lot of time that I wasted on video games. I would tell him to not play them as much, and especially competitive ones like League of Legends, Overwatch, Rainbow Six Siege. I don't play Rainbow Six Siege, but that's just another example. I don't play any of them now currently, but back then I was big into League, big into Overwatch, both of which had competitive game modes. And it took a lot of time out of my life for me chasing ranks that really didn't do anything for me in reality. And in order to combat that, I would tell him to fill it with, fill that time that he would be playing video games with like reading, delving into God's Word, going to the gym, which I'm going to get into a little bit later, because at the time I'd probably go back in time, I would probably still be using my home gym, which is like an incomplete little gym, but we'll get to that in a minute. But to kind of like, I guess, reiterate, every time, like when I was living at home with my parents and I was big into video games back then, I was playing them all the time. Every night I would be on with my friends for hours and hours at a time. And every time that my parents saw like my grades dip, or if I like failed a physical test at something, like every major or minor failure in my life, they would attribute to the games and being on with my friends all the time. And since it was something I really enjoyed doing, I would defend it, and I would tell them like how it wasn't the game, and I would get angry at them. Not necessarily argue with them on the spot. I would agree with them, but not really in my head. I would kind of just tell them what they wanted to hear and then try to look like I was putting more effort into it, and then eventually pass that thing. But it took years for me to realize that they were actually right, that I didn't need to be spending so much time on video games, on with my friends. So that's one thing that I would tell him, because of just the amount of time like time I could have been reading, the amount of time I could have been researching things that that would help me later in life, like the gym and fitness and self-help. Just all of that time could have been put into that. And kind of to tie into that, like what I was saying earlier, getting an actual gym membership. So if I had the opportunity, I would tell my younger self to just bite the bullet, start paying the monthly fee. And because I still kind of am a little bit like, if I don't have to spend money, I won't. And my younger self was like that back then too. And back then we had a home gym in my parents' basement. So it had like a bench press. It had one of those seated calf machines. And I would do all my exercises down there. And I had a pair of those, like, I think they're called they're like power dumbbells where you can like adjust the weight up to 50 pounds. So I thought I had everything I needed. I didn't need to like go to the gym and start paying these like monthly fees and everything. Like it was so convenient. I could just walk 10 feet from my computer in my basement to my little home gym and do my workouts there. But I would, now looking back at it, I would call that gym incomplete. Like I didn't have cables. I didn't have like a lot of these specific machines. Like I didn't have a pec fly. And I know there's like dumbbell variants of it, but the pec fly machine is much safer, obviously. So I didn't have the knowledge of like all the different options that were out there that would be able to help me. And the first time I really like blew up physique wise was when I got a job at a Planet Fitness. when I was around 21 or 22. And I had access to all this new equipment for free because I had a gym membership there. So I would tell my younger self, like, hey, just do it. Just go to a gym near you, even if it's Planet Fitness. Even if you don't want to pay that much, just go to like Planet Fitness. Just pay the membership, sign up there, just use all that equipment possible, because I was looking to get as big as possible, and not having all the equipment to do that, I was kind of just wasting time in an incomplete gym, as convenient as it was. So I would also tell my younger self to not be who he's not. So like, don't try to be the cool guy, don't try to be the funny guy when you're not. And I don't mean that in like a mean way, but growing up in school and when I was in Boy Scouts, there was a kid named Jake Bell that I used to go to school with, that I used to be in Boy Scouts with. And he was like the class clown. He always had something funny to say. He was always like putting on an act, like a funny like skit. And people found him really funny. Like, he was really like, well, he knew how to communicate. He was very charismatic. And I looked up to him in a lot of ways because of how he was able to like sway people. Like, when we were in Boy Scouts together, he was talking to scouts like 2 or 3 years older than me, or older than us, because he was in the same kind of like age group as I was in. And I wanted to be funny like him and be as charismatic as him, but that just wasn't who I was. And I fought against myself so much trying to like be funny and make people laugh when I just wasn't that guy. And it came off, I can see how it would like have come off as like really annoying, or like I could have come off as like weird, because like people kind of subconsciously sense when you're trying to be somebody that you're not. And like in school, like I would try to be like in middle school, I'll probably do a video about this down the line more in detail, but I essentially would try to be like the cool silent anime character type. And that's not who I am either. Like, I'm a pretty stoic, silent guy, but I'm not like the, like hands crossed, like mysterious kind of guy. Like, I'm more of like the gentle giant. Like, I just kind of exist and like do my thing. And if you want to talk to me, like, I'm friendly, I'm nice. And I like it led to like people thinking that I was weird, like these tendencies to want to be funnier than I really was, to be cooler than I really was. Like, I was kind of a tryhard. So, excuse me, that actually resulted in high school to one of the teachers that I actually liked, and one of the teachers that I actually thought was pretty funny. I found out from a friend of mine who was in one of his classes that he was talking to the other kids, and I don't know how it came up in conversation. I think another teacher said my name and a friend's name, and this teacher that my buddy whose class he was in called me weird, called me and the other friend weird pretty much in front of the entire class. And like, people started laughing in that class because the teacher was saying that about me. And I only found out after the fact, and it made me feel like shit, to be honest. But it was kind of like a wake-up call for me, in a sense of like, why would he think that? And initially there's like a defensiveness to it. There's like a, screw that guy, how dare he talk about me like that? Like, what did I ever do to him? But I used it down the line as like kind of a glimpse into myself and how I was trying to come across when, I was trying to be something I wasn't. And eventually down the line, I found out to be funny in my own way. And I found out to be cool in my own way. Where it was organic. It wasn't me trying to be something I wasn't. So I attracted people that actually thought that my sense of humor was funny. And who actually thought like I was a good guy. And honest and had these good values. So like if you try to, even if it works and you try to be funnier or cooler than you are, or like something that you're not, you're going to attract people that are attracted to that image of yourself that you put out. So you'll never be able to be yourself around them, ever. You'll never be able to be your true authentic self because they're attracted to that image of yourself that you created. So I'm kind of fortunate that it didn't work out for me because it would have been exhausting having to be somebody I wasn't for the rest of my life. So that's what I would tell him in that respect. I'd also tell him not to go through life AFK. In like gamer terms, AFK is when like you're away from your keyboard or your computer and your character in the game is kind of just like lifelessly sitting there, like, or standing there not doing anything. So like going through life AFK is kind of like, I'll try to give you an example through me. So I used to go through life AFK, like not putting real effort into a lot of things. I'd consider myself like a pretty smart guy. I'm not like a genius or anything, but I'm a pretty smart guy. Like I could pass my grades, A's and B's, with no issues. Like very little effort, I could get A's and B's in classes. So it kind of just led to me like kind of coasting through my homework every night, coasting through the tests, not really like retaining much, just kind of like doing what I needed to do for the test and then just dumping it all. And every job that I had after that, I just kind of expected everything to kind of just come to me and I'd memorize it and I'd be like good for that job. And it worked up until a point when I got a pretty like sizable career that I believed that I wanted to do since I was in college. And I did put in effort to that career, but I didn't apply myself as much as I could have, because it was a career where there was a lot of information hitting you at once when you're in that training period. So I could have done more. I could have brought in like a notebook and wrote down things like every day that I was learning to kind of like help myself retain it. But like in school and throughout my life, I was so used to just coasting through everything and like saying, I'll remember it when the time comes. That wasn't the case with that job, and I actually ended up losing that job. I actually ended up not staying at that job because I didn't adequately prepare myself for what the expectations were. So you need to, and I learned in that moment that, you know, when you need to go through life with intention. You can't go through life just coasting along because you reap what you sow, and you're going to get the result. Your results that you get are going to match the effort that you put in. You need to pay attention in whatever you're trying to do, and you need to apply yourself. So after that job, when I kind of said like, fuck, you know, screw that place, I'm going to prove that I can actually learn anything that I want to. The couple jobs I had after that have only been good learning experiences for me. And my supervisors would come to me and they'd be like, or they'd tell people behind my back, like, he's a fast learner. Why did he, like, I don't know what his bosses were thinking at the other job, but at these new jobs, I was actually applying myself more so. And I wasn't like AFKing it anymore. I wasn't, you know, just expecting things to come to me. I was being attentive. I was being like paying more attention, and like putting myself in a position where I could pay better attention, like getting better rest, having better habits overall. So just, I would tell myself to put myself in a better position, just like be intentional with everything that you do. And, and, you know, like I said, if I had, and the real problem with me in that career that I thought I wanted to do was that I thought it was my passion initially. So I was like, well, if it's my passion and it's been, you know, if it's going to be everything that I want to do, then I'm obviously going to retain the information more. But it ended up not actually being my passion or something that I actually wanted to do for the rest of my life. And that's not something that I knew until I was in it. So that's, I guess, the next thing I would tell myself is find your passion. Like, no matter how much time it takes, or no matter what you have to do, find your passion. Like, find out what is exciting for you. For me, it's uploading to YouTube right now. It's you know, helping people with life advice, helping people lose weight, gain muscle on their fitness goals, just through like the advice of my own experiences and honest truth and hard work. Like, this isn't a channel where I'm gonna start like pulling out pages and pages of studies, and I'm gonna start like, citing, Alexander et al. That, you need to do this and this to get an extra 5-10% of muscle on your bench press. No, I'm not. I'm not looking to throw a textbook at you. I'm just looking to be here as a testament to the systems that I've put in place for myself that have worked for me, and that to put them in a generalized way that can work for everyone. So I know there are things that are going to be geared towards me that'll only work for me, and that's fine. But most of my advice that I give on this channel, it's just going to be grit, honest advice on how to improve your life and improve your fitness journey, just from what I've experienced. So what I would tell myself to kind of like come back to it is find your passion. If it takes turning everything off and sitting at a wall, like staring at a wall for an hour and just sitting in your feelings, do it. So like I said before, my passion now, I know, is helping others. If you want my help, or if you've gotten help from my videos that I've already posted for free and you feel like it's helped you enough and you want to take the next step forward, I have my website in the bio. I'm going to link it below. I have my Instagram if you want to check out my Instagram. I hope this video helped you. If you would leave a comment down below, I would tell you to just like put down there, like, if you encountered your younger self, what would you say to them? So I'll leave it at that. I hope this video helps you. If you want my help personally, like I said in the description, personal training, life advice, my links will be down there. You have it in you to be great. Goodbye.